Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, has been in a state of turmoil since last month because everything he and his team attempted for Snow White worked against them. Snow White's public relations have already plummeted, despite the fact that the film will be released in theaters on March 21st of 2025. The dread of an unfathomable public boycott reached its zenith in August, when the first trailer was published, and it's still going on, despite Disney's several methods to avoid public outrage.
It reminds me of that time that I sat down for the movie reaction channel, guys, right? And watched Captain Marvel. The whole trailer reminds me of that. It reminded me of how much I have a strong dislike and have terrible taste in my...
The teaser was first released on a YouTube channel, but instead of releasing it on every screen and platform conceivable, Disney kept it hidden like a filthy little secret. For barely over a week, it was only shown in a few theaters. There are no official uploads, no widespread advertising, no nothing. The internet only became aware of it after a leaked tape surfaced. Seriously, I felt like Disney was attempting to conceal the trailer, as if they knew it was a flop and wanted to postpone the eventual roasting. But there's only so long you can avoid reality. On December 3rd, they eventually published the trailer on YouTube, and let's just say the reaction was not positive. At the time of writing, the trailer had 786,000 dislikes and only 31,000 likes, and the difference is only rising. Surprisingly, Disney kept the comments area up, and the remarks are far more hilarious than anything Disney has released in years. For example, the monetization of this trailer may generate more revenue than the real film. They eventually finished it, or they produced a film that no one wants to pirate, or merely the tip of the iceberg. It's harsh out there. For those who have not watched the trailer, you may be wondering if it is indeed that horrible. It's worse. Imagine taking all of the worst aspects of current Disney. The preachy tone, uninspired CGI, oversaturated colors, and perplexing character rewrites are all combined into one woke disaster. These crazy maneuvers result in an uncomfortable blend of the classic Snow White and some strange woke embellishments. And it is undeniably ineffective.
It's invalid is when you try to push your viewpoint and you try to make other people behave the way that you want them to behave. So like if you're an actor with dwarfism that doesn't want to be portrayed that way, then just don't seek out roles that portray you that way.
And don't even get me started on the CGI is horrible. Disney used to be the gold standard in animation, but everything here feels fake and lifeless. The animals, for example, resemble their 2D counterparts but lack any authentic vibes. They are glorified plush toys that move about like animatronics from a bargain theme park. Absolute garbage. But what about the true tragedy? The dwarfs. Remember the issue around Peter Dinklage's criticism of the usage of dwarf actors? Disney panicked and renamed them as 7 mystical beings, which again did not go over well. After a major response, they attempted to backtrack, but the repercussions were devastating. The dwarfs are an odd combination of animation and hyperrealism, and they appear strange. It's hard to believe this is the same company that produced pictures like The Chronicles of Narnia, which had significantly superior CGI on a lesser budget 2 decades ago, and an uncontrollable and inevitable association excluded from the regular World Access Cider. When they don't notice things, they now use the excuse that it's a children's movie. However, children need the high-quality programming that Disney produced for more than 50 years. Now it appears that the magic has been replaced by awakened agendas and an excess of sloppy CGI. It's hard to imagine this is the same studio that once defined storytelling and animation.
I think that some anime should stay anime. It's because when you bring the fantastical nature of like animation to real life, you lose a lot. And like you do have, there's like maybe 2 or 3 guys that can become anime.
It's very striking when you compare Cinderella's stunning gown and Lily James's adaptation to Rachel Zegler's cheap plastic clothing in this trailer. The difference is night and day, and it's made worse by the fact that the 2 films are separated by only a decade. How does that happen? Unfortunately, the acting is insufficient to redeem the debacle. In certain circumstances, it actually drives it down even farther. Rachel Zegler may be one of Disney's most loathed actors right now due to those cringe-worthy interviews from last year. Nevertheless, she possesses some skill. Her line delivery is consistent, and her singing voice is unquestionably powerful. But what about Gal Gadot's performance as the villainous queen? It's very painful. Disney villains are expected to steal the show. Larger than life, theatrical, and full of flair. Consider Jeremy Irons as Scar, a figure so captivating that even a cartoon lion seemed dominating. That's the seriousness we're accustomed to. Godot, on the other hand, appears bored. Her evil queen comes out as more disgruntled by Snow White's existence than concerned with her own beauty, losing the dark edge that made the original figure so memorable. It is not only her delivery that is lacking, the whole image lacks the evil queen's obsessive, lethal vanity. The original was royal, calculating, and terrifying, prepared to forgo her own beauty for power. In comparison, Godot's queen appears to be phoning it in, upset by her stepdaughter's views rather than motivated by jealousy or hatred. Even in the trailer's few scenes, there is no sense of fear or threat behind her demands. It's as if Disney has drained all of the drama and pleasure out of one of their most legendary villains, leaving behind a flat, uninspired presentation.
It doesn't surprise me that people responded in the way that they did, guys. I mean, Disney has been trying to push this Hollywood, ideology, let's say, onto the masses for the last, decade.
Speaking about uninspired, the performers and staff appear completely disconnected from the production. When your main actress publicly criticizes the source work and boasts about modernizing it, it's difficult to imagine anybody involved cares about the original. Ziegler's controversial remarks about rewriting Snow White as someone who does not need to be saved by a prince have been repeated often, and not in a positive manner. The idea that the original narrative has no worth merely because it was published in 1937 demonstrates a shocking lack of comprehension of what made it timeless in the first place. But it doesn't end there. Ziegler's divisive political remarks have also alienated a large chunk of her prospective following. Following Trump's recent election victory, she went on Instagram and posted a highly worded tirade calling him a menace to democracy and hoped his fans never experienced peace. Whether you're on the left or right, it's difficult to understand why this would offend anyone. A Disney princess should delight and unify the audience, not enrage and divide them. The outcry was swift, with overwhelming demands that Disney terminate her from all future projects. Unsurprisingly, Ziegler responded promptly with a well-crafted apologies, which many believe was dictated by Disney's public relations staff. She promised not to let her emotions take over and to focus on making tomorrow a better day. But let's be honest. After so many controversies and phony apologies, no one is taking it anymore. Instead of generating enthusiasm for the picture, Ziegler's actions have become a major concern, pulling both her image and Disney's credibility deeper into disarray.
You are trying to push it. It sounds like you want to lose money. Whoever is over there, leading Disney, they're trying to virtue signal in a way that is just turning people off, bro. Just go back to making good movies. Okay. Not everything has to be about.
All of this mayhem is taking place while Disney tries and fails to rebound from a run of high-profile disasters. The studio's image has suffered in recent years, with fans becoming weary of their shallow, virtue-signaling attempts to modernize great themes. It's become so terrible that even Disney appears to be scurrying to tone down the messaging, but at this point, it may be too little too late. Then there's the finances. The budget. According to Forbes, the production cost of Snow White has risen to $269 million. That doesn't even include the impending marketing campaign. A large portion of this is supposedly due to reshoots after reaction from the 7 Magical Beings incident. Disney was forced to hustle to redo whole sections of the picture, pouring additional money into a production that already appeared to be a financial disaster. By the time this film enters theaters, the total cost might probably approach $400 million. And why? A picture that audiences are already avoiding before it even hits theaters? What do you think about this major upcoming flop? Let us know in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on woke Snow White.